Imagine a place that looks like paradise, a valley bursting with life, but underneath all that beauty, there's this deep blackness, a potential for, well, violence and real sorrow. What if that whole story, good versus evil, isn't some fixed destiny? What if it's actually an open choice for every single one of us?
That really does cut right to the heart of it, doesn't it? And it's central to what we're diving into today with John Steinbeck's East of Eden.
Absolutely. So today, we're taking a deep dive into that rich, complex world. We've pulled together some really powerful excerpts to explore these unforgettable characters and this central, almost transformative idea, an idea that maybe offers a shortcut to understanding human nature and the sheer power of individual will.
And what's so brilliant is how Steinbeck uses this specific place, the Salinas Valley, and these intricate family stories to explore these, universal truths. We'll unpack how the choices made there echo down through generations.
Shaping destinies, definitely, and revealing some, frankly, surprising things about our own capacity for both good and Steinbeck might just say, not good.
Yeah. And get ready, because there's this one word we're going to focus on, a Hebrew word, that might just change how you look at yourself and maybe the world around you.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's start then with the soul of the story, the land itself, the Salinas Valley.
You really have to start there. Steinbeck was born in Salinas in 1902, and for him, this valley wasn't just like a setting, it was deeply personal. You feel his connection on every page.
It feels like more than just a backdrop, doesn't it? He makes it almost alive, the character. What's so significant about this landscape beyond just, being beautiful or harsh?
Well, it's a place of these incredible contrasts, almost biblical in scale. Steinbeck talks about its geology, how digging wells turns up white sea sand, shells, even whalebone and redwood logs deep down.
Wow.
Yeah, proving it was once this huge 100-mile inlet from the sea. So there's this sense of ancientness, something primordial grounding the human story.
And the land mirrors the human struggle too, right? He paints these pictures of the spring, unbelievable flowers, lupins, poppies like liquid pure gold.
It's just stunning beauty.
But then summer comes. The hills turn yellow and red. The earth cracks, streams dry up, and this rasping, nervous wind starts blowing. Cuts your skin, burns your eyes.
Exactly. Beauty and brutality side by side. It's the perfect stage. And into this landscape step the Hamilton Samuel and Liza, an Irish couple. Their own contrasting natures really set the tone for all the human complexity that follows.
Samuel Hamilton sounds like quite the figure. Steinbeck describes him as well-educated, well-read, descended from Irish kings even, but he ends up on this bony soil without water. How does that shape him?
It brings out his inventive spirit. He's not just scraping by. He builds a well-boring rig, a threshing machine, becomes the district's blacksmith, the tool mender. People rely on him.
So practical genius then.
And philosophical, too. He had this deep voice, loved talking about everything the world, poetry, philosophy. Farmers would bring him whiskey just to listen. Steinbeck calls him a comical genius, just a beloved, vibrant character.
Okay, so Samuel is this bright spark, but his wife, Liza, she sounds quite different. How does their contrast work in the story?
Oh, completely different. Liza is his stark opposite. She has these small, round convictions, a gripping jaw set on its course, very meticulous, hated idleness, saw fun dancing, singing as sinful. Her mission was partly to protect Samuel from the devil, a really formidable presence.
Stern is putting it mildly, it sounds like, but there's that surprising twist later in her life, right? With the port wine.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Doctor prescribes it for medicine when she's about 70. She goes from forcing down one spoonful to eventually drinking over a quart a day. And Steinbeck notes she became a much more relaxed and happy woman.
A quart? Wow. What do you make of that?
Well, it suggests maybe even the most rigid person isn't entirely fixed, There's always potential for change, even unexpected liberation. And their kids really show that spectrum, too. George, Will, Una, Olive, Joe, Tom, Molly. All different paths, hinting at individuality versus destiny, even though they all grew up Hamiltons and poor because that land just wouldn't give them water.
So the Hamiltons ground us in the land, in resilience, maybe even unexpected change. But the valley, like the human spirit, it holds shadows too. Which brings us, I think, to the Trask family.
Yes, a very different legacy.
Yeah.
Starting with Cyrus Trask, the patriarch, master of, illusion. Self-reinvention.
The old soldier.
Right. He builds this whole identity around being a war hero, even though his actual military experience was minimal. His wooden leg becomes his certificate of proof. And the thing is, he tells the lies so often, he starts believing them himself, becomes an authority on war.
And this persona actually works for him.
Amazingly well. He writes articles, letters to the War Department, becomes a big voice in the GAR, this powerful veterans group, influences policy, but the real shock comes after he dies.
Ah, the money.
Exactly. He seemed like this humble guy, not much wealth. But they find over $93,000 in the bank, $10,000 in securities, ceremonial swords, gold-headed stick, a huge gap between the public image and the hidden reality. Lots of secrets there.
So that sets a certain tone for the family. What about his son, Adam? His early life sounds pretty rough under Cyrus.
Yeah, marked by obedience, suffocating discipline, Adam eventually realizes his father's methods were just about his father, not about anything real. So Adam develops this quiet withdrawal, a veil of vagueness.
In the military service his father forces on him, that sounds incredibly conflicted.
Deeply. He develops this increasing revulsion for violence. He's a good shot, but he aims to miss. Commits treason against his unit, essentially. Yet somehow he gets decorated for bravery.
Talk about internal conflict.
Totally. It's this desire for peace clashing with what's expected. After the army, his path gets even stranger. He becomes a tramp.
Just wanders.
Yeah, but learns things. Humility, Spanish, connects with poor people. And there's this amazing moment where he gets jailed for vagrancy, maybe stole something small, but later sends the money back with interest. It shows this inherent decency, almost fighting against his father's legacy of deceit.
A very different path from his brother Charles. Charles seems consumed by something darker.
Oh, yeah. Jealousy, mostly. Desperate for his father's approval, which he never feels he gets. There's that painful story about the knife he buys Cyrus for his birthday, a really nice one, pearl handle.
And Cyrus basically ignores it.
Yeah, praises something simple Adam gave him instead. It just fuels Charles's resentment, and it boils over. Violently, he attacks Adam with a hatchet, leaves him badly beaten, and Charles himself carries this physical mark, a dark brown, crinkled scar on his forehead. Steinbeck suggests it might be from iron rust under the skin from an old injury, a visible sign of that internal turmoil, that rage. Later, he's a rich farmer, misses Adam, works incredibly hard, maybe to fight loneliness, but refuses to modernize, clinging to the past.
So he's got the Hamiltons' earthy, striving complex, and the Trasks, tangled in lies, resentment, hidden wounds, and then comes Kathy.
Kathy Ames, or later Kate. Steinbeck doesn't mince words here. He calls her a monster born in the world to human parents. Not metaphorically, literally. Lacking kindness, conscience, any empathy at all.
That's chilling. What makes her so terrifyingly unique in the story?
It's her almost unnatural understanding of people's weaknesses, their impulses, and how to use them, even as a child. She could fake terror perfectly to get out of trouble, like when she was caught with those boys, leading one of them, James Group, to suicide.
Cold calculation.
Completely. When her father whipped her, she learned exactly how to scream and writhe, not from pain, but just enough to make him stop sooner. It's all about control and manipulation right from the start.
And she pulls off this act later, pretending to reform.
Yeah.
Knitting, planning to be a teacher.
All of performance.
Yeah.
A cover while she plans something truly horrific. She robs the local bank payroll, kills a chicken just to use its blood for effect, burns down her family home, killing her parents inside, and then calmly frames someone else for it.
Purely evil.
And utterly detached. She sheds that identity, Kathy Ames, becomes a prostitute, and then climbs the ladder to become Kate, the madam of a very successful, very dark brothel. And Steinbeck stresses this wasn't out of laziness or desperation. It was a deliberate strategy for power and security. She trusted no one. Herself was an island.
So her marriage to Adam Trask, just another strategic move.
Entirely. She saw him as a refuge. Protection, money, especially while she was pregnant with the twins, but there was absolutely no warmth for him. Later, as Kate, she still has this angelic face, but it masks that shrewd, cold mind. She uses blackmail pictures, letters to control powerful men in town, believes, nobody can hurt me.
Is there anyone she connects with, on any level?
It's interesting. Steinbeck notes she feels a strange kinship with Charles Trask. She recognizes his dark sullenness. It's something familiar, something she understands, unlike the men she just manipulates. It hints at some shared, maybe primal darkness in their natures.
What finally happens to her? Someone who thinks they're untouchable.
Well, her end is rather mundane in a way. Botulism from a tainted can of beans, ironically. But the aftermath is dramatic. The sheriff finds her blackmail cache. All this material that could destroy prominent men.
And he burns it.
He does. A really complex choice. Protecting these men from ruin, possibly suicide, by destroying the evidence of Kate's control? A sort of mercy, maybe, after all her malice?
A calculated end, followed by a calculated choice by someone else. It really sets the stage for the next generation, doesn't it? Adam and Kathy's twins, Cal and Aaron. Another round of Cain and Abel.
Exactly. But now carrying the weight of both Adam's idealism and struggle and Kathy's nature, Aaron is the picture of innocence, almost ethereal. Golden hair, blue eyes, wants to be a minister, believes his mother is an angel in heaven. He clings to purity, maybe avoids the truth.
A fragile ideal, perhaps. And Cal.
Cal is more complex, more conflicted. Physically, he looks like Adam, dark hair, square jaw. But inside, he feels that darkness from Kathy. He tells Lee, I hate her because I know why she went away. I know because I've got her in me. He feels tainted.
That's a heavy burden for a kid.
Immense. He spies on Kate's brothel, sees the circus, as he calls it, and it sickens him. But he also develops this incredibly passionate love for his father, Adam, and desperately wants his approval, wants to somehow make things right for him.
And this is where Lee comes in, right? The Trask's servant. He's so much more than that, though.
Oh, absolutely. Lee is the philosophical heart of the book, really. He reveals he speaks perfect English, but usually hides behind pigeon talk.
Why does he do that?
Self-protection, against prejudice. He says Samuel Hamilton and later Adam were rare because they could separate your observation from your preconception. They saw him, not the stereotype.
And he has his own powerful backstory, too.
Incredible story. His parents came from China as indentured laborers, faced terrible hardship. His mother crossed the Pacific, disguised as a man to find his father, endured unbelievable suffering, and died tragically. Lee's story embodies resilience, the sheer strength of the human spirit against overwhelming odds.
And it's Lee, this wise, resilient character, who delivers the central revelation of the book, the meaning of timshel.
Yes, this is the core. Lee, with his scholarly friends, these old gentlemen, digs deep into the original Hebrew of Genesis 4.7, the story of Cain and Abel, where God speaks to Cain. The verse ends roughly, sin lies at the door, its desires for you, but you must rule over it. But how must you rule? That's the question.
The translations differ. Right, that's the key discovery.
Exactly. Lee explains it meticulously. The King James Bible translates the Hebrew word as, thou shalt rule over him, like a promise, or maybe an order. You will conquer sin.
Okay, that sounds like destiny. Predetermined victory.
Or a command you might fail. The American Standard Version also uses thou shalt, an order. But Lee and his friends find the original Hebrew word is timshel, and it means something profoundly different.
What does it mean?
Thou mayest.
Thou mayest.
Thou mayest rule over sin. It's not a command, it's not a promise, it's a choice. Lee says this is maybe the most important word in the world. It means the way is open. It hands the choice, the responsibility, and the glory squarely back to the individual.
Wow. That changes everything. It's not fate, not inherited sin you're doomed by.
Yeah, exactly. It's agency. You may choose to struggle against darkness. You may choose good. It gives Samuel Hamilton, when he hears it, this incredible sense of release, of potential. He feels he can be a pillar of fire. It offers Adam a path out of his despair. It challenges that whole idea of inherited evil. It offers hope.
The power to choose.
Yeah.
timshel. Okay, so with that understanding unlocked, how do we see it play out, especially with Cal and Adam?
Well, Cal, remember, is desperate for Adam's love and approval. He gets involved in a bean speculation deal during the war, makes a lot of money, $15,000.
Which was a fortune then.
Huge. And he wants to give it to Adam, partly to make up for Adam's own disastrous attempt to ship lettuce east, which failed miserably. Cal sees it as an act of love, of redemption.
But Adam doesn't see it that way.
No.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. Adam, who had managed this amazing, enduring smile after his own massive failure, looks at Cal's money and rejects it, calls it filthy, war profiteering, tainted. He tells Cal he'd be prouder if Cal had failed, honestly.
Oh, that must have just crushed Cal.
Utterly. It confirms Cal's deepest fear. I'm not good. His father sees the darkness in him, or so Cal believes. In his despair, Cal essentially drives Aaron toward the truth about their mother, Kate, which shatters Aaron's idealism.
Leading Aaron to
enlist in the army, seeking escape, or maybe some kind of purity in service, but he's killed in the war. And the news devastates Adam.
So the consequences of choices, misunderstandings, they just ripple outwards.
Terribly. Adam suffers a stroke after hearing about Aaron. He's left paralyzed, his vision is failing, he's trapped in his own guilt and helplessness. Cal feels like a murderer.
It seems like the cycle of pain is just going to continue.
Yeah.
There's that final scene.
The crucial scene. Lee understands Cal's agony, his feeling of being damned. He insists that Adam, despite his condition, must give Cal his blessing, must absolve him. Lee practically forces Adam to acknowledge his remaining son.
And Adam, he manages it.
With tremendous effort. He struggles, but finally he looks at Cal, and he whispers one word, "Timshel, thou mayest." In that moment, Adam gives Cal the greatest gift. He frees him from the burden of inherited guilt, from the idea that his path is fixed by his mother's nature or his own mistakes. He gives him the freedom and the responsibility of choice to define himself.
Wow. A powerful ending to that struggle. So we've journeyed through this incredible landscape, the Salinas Valley. We've met the Hamiltons, the Trasks, Kathy, Cal, Aaron, Lee. Characters driven by ambition, love, hate, secrets, and this constant underlying struggle between good and evil.
And through it all, from Cyrus's lies to Kathy's malice, from Samuel's spirit to Adam's final act of forgiveness, the story keeps circling back to this idea. Your narrative isn't written in stone.
The power of timshel, thou mayest. That understanding that choice is always there, even when things feel fated, even when you feel the pull of less than good impulses.
Right. It means you aren't just your past, you aren't just your circumstances, or even your sea. You have that power, that choice to rule over sin, as Genesis puts it, to choose your path.
So maybe the final thought for you, our listener, is this. In a world that can often feel like it's pushing you in one direction or another, where do you see the timshel in your own life? What are the forces, maybe hidden ones, that you feel you're grappling with? And how might really embracing that power of choice, thou mayest, transform your own story?